What's everybody? The V Club here. The Villain Club is what it's all about. All right. It's always good to be bad. All right. But it's not bad to be good. Or is it? Something for you to think about, right? It's rhetorical. You just think about it. Anyhow, it's about lifestyle, entertainment, anything and everything. Off the cuff. Nothing's off the table. We talk about anything and everything. And one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to share my thoughts on things that I see. I welcome any subject that you want to bring upon me. I'll talk about it. All right. But this is where it's at. All right. So let's talk about The View. All right. Because I've been staying away from talking about The View for a very, very long time, especially with all the nonsense that they are and what they're about and all that. And now it's just it's over the top bullshit that The View is now, right? So let's see here. We could look at the representation of The View. So we have Anna Navarro, who's supposed to be a conservative opinion, right? But she's trash. Alyssa Fair Griffin, she's supposed to be a conservative opinion as well, but she gets steamrolled all the time by the liberal panel here of Whoopi, right? Washed up actress. Sarah Haynes, cute, good looking MILF. All right. And then there's, let's see who else is there. Sunny Holston as well. Let me see if I can show a visual. Sunny Holston, that's a mixed. You can tell she's biracial, black representation as well. Very liberal, decent looking, but very liberal. And I think that covers everybody, right? Let's see. Yeah, one, two, three, four, five. And then the red-haired chick there, the
Yulia, you were a major
shit.
source.
If you are willing
get out of
to
this
pick
thing.
up your dog's poop, but you won't.
Yulia, you were a major source.
I don't want to listen to it. Don't want to listen to them. All right. Let me see if I can find the name of the red-haired one. She's full of shit too. I didn't even show her name. But you know what I'm talking about. There's a red-haired one there too. All right. Talks a lot of bullshit. These are all Trump deranged yentas. All right, that's who they are. Trump deranged yentas. Especially Whoopi, especially the red hair one, and especially Anna Navarro is supposed to be supposedly conservative, but it's just she's so liberal that I don't even think she's even a Republican or a conservative at all. So you have this panel of liberal women, all right, because even Alyssa Fair Griffin doesn't really get to speak her piece because she gets steamrolled by the other chicks all the time. Um, they talk about all kinds of bullshit. Trump deranged, Trump is Hitler, all the same lines and narrative that the liberal media runs on, right? ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, right? They're all MSNBC. They're all, liberal, progressive, anti-Trump, Trump deranged. Everything that they say, they think they, are out to embrace women, but they're doing a disservice to women out there. That's that red-haired chick I was pointing out. This guy, that chick there. Yeah, all all yentas. All right, so they're they're out of gas. All right, that's the problem with The View is that they're out of gas. Trump won the election. The Republicans cleaned up the election. Right, they won everything. They won the House. They won the Senate. Um, and The View is out of gas because this whole time they were fear mongering, just like all the liberal media. They kept being Trump deranged, fear mongering, all this stuff, right? And it didn't work. Kamala is the best thing ever, right? All that stuff didn't work. They're out of gas, all right? So, in order, when they even have recent guests like Eric Adams, all right, let me see if they show a little. There you go. So, Eric Adams was a guest recently, and they were trying to get him on board the Trump derangement, all right, that they're still continuing to press, and he wasn't falling for it. All right, he was actually fair about it. He wasn't supportive of Trump, but he was fair about what they were trying to make him say and do, and he wasn't falling for it. And so, he's actually looking forward to what Trump may do with New York City. All right, which it didn't rub the view the right way because they really want him to just smear and continue the derangement of Trump, but he wasn't falling for it. To everybody's surprise, because there's a whole other side story about Eric Adams, even though he's a Democrat, and why he's trying to play ball, right? So we'll talk about that in another video, right? Because I want to talk about him and maybe Brandon Johnson tomorrow, because Brandon Johnson doesn't want to play ball. He still thinks he's above it all. All right, so what made headlines is that Whoopi claimed that the particular New York City bakery denied service to her, refused to do service to her. All right, and so, and she made it sound like, and she didn't say any names, but there was enough out there for people to sniff it out, especially, the media to sniff it out and figure out, okay, we know where the bakery's at. We're going to go talk to the bakery ourselves and find out what really happened, right? You got to hear both sides of the story. So, if anything, she's just trying to create headlines because she's washed up. She's a piece of shit, race baiter, gender baiter, liberal baiter, right? Masturbator, probably, because who's she hooked up with, right? And and come to find out, she lied, right? She's lying about it. She's facing backlash because she's full of shit. All right. So let me see here if we could find the story of that. Let me see here. Guess we'll go to this. All right. And let's see if there's a. Yeah, I guess this maybe this Fox story will explain everything. Let's see.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vito Fasella. I'm very lucky.
Let me see if there's anything that shows any footage of what Whoopi said. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, she was trying to order these cupcakes for her birthday, right? So that's what the whole setup was about. And then she was claiming that the bakery denied her because of her political affiliation, which is full of shit, right? I mean, yeah, at the same time, a business can deny service for anything, right? Like, they can deny service, but that's besides the point. For those claims that she was saying didn't hold any water. All right, so let's see here. See if we could narrow down the view, the specific clip here that she said. Man, there's like nothing isolated to that. I guess I'll just play. Let's see. Nah, I'm not gonna play that one. All right. I'm gonna play this right here because black conservatives are usually pretty good about covering things, so I can't find the clip, so I'm just gonna go with this. Courtesy of black conservative.
My birthday dessert today was one of my mom's favorites from when she was a kid. And she talked about these all the time. They're called Charlotte Russe. And it's a sponge cake with whipped cream and a cherry on top. Now, I should tell you, Charlotte Russe has no political leanings. And the place that made these refused to make them for me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What? Oh,
no. Let me explain. They said that their ovens had gone down, all kinds of stuff, but folks went and got them anyway, which is why I'm not telling you who made them. But it's not getting because I'm a woman, but perhaps they did not like my politics. But that's okay, because you know.
I know it's sped up, all right? It's just sped up, but you just so you get the idea of it here. All right, so let me go. Yeah,
You know what?
let me
Listen,
just continue on.
this is my mother's celebration. Pick these up and celebrate with me and my mom. Thank you, everyone, for celebrating my birthday today. I want you all to have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy the view and never let folks get you down.
A few moments later.
Seems to be a lot of talk about the dessert I requested for my birthday show. I never mentioned the name of the bakery or the location. It does seem a little odd that when we called a few weeks before my birthday and we were told they couldn't process the order for my birthday because of an equipment failure, but somehow they were able to accept an order of a different 48 of the same dessert when somebody else called without using my name. But it's all okay, y'all, because I enjoyed my delicious dessert and I had a happy, sweet birthday.
All right, so you have that, all right, and
Nothing better than that.
All right, guys.
all right, so New York Bakery says boiler breakdown, not politics, blocked Whoopi Goldberg from buying the cupcakes. All right, so that was the whole premise of all this nonsense that happened here. All right, and then she went into denial mode there and all that, and so now we could hear the other side of the story because people tracked down the bakery. They asked the bakery, "Hey, what's up with this?" And they told their side of the story about what happened. And let me show you guys that. All right, which is here.
To be the borough president of Staten Island, and we're here to stand up for one of the best families and businesses, this not just Staten Island, but this country, and appreciate the Holterman family story. The Holterman bakery story is an American story. This place has been here for 145 years. The Holterman family has committed their life to Staten Island, to this community. It is respected, it's hardworking, it's perseverance, and recently somebody took to the national airwaves and defamed, frankly, this family, this wonderful family represents.
And that's the thing, right? Because if you're making these claims defaming a business that's been around for a long time, especially national, right? Because this is national TV here. I mean, it could really kill the business, right? Especially, even though there's no truth to it, it could still kill a business. So that's what's dangerous about this.
Representing a wonderful business. And we're here today to support them, to say that Staten Island stands with them. And I venture to guess if people across this country knew what the Holterman family was all about, they would be here too. And judging by the line today, I think one simple message is you don't mess with Staten Island.
How about this? New York needs to fucking wake up to all the blue, liberal, piece of shit Democrats that seem to be supportive of all the liberal, progressive bullshit. All right? And if these are people that are working class, supportive of one another, why are they supporting the Democrats? Because that's what Whoopi is, and all these politicians in New York are blue, you know, and it's sad because when you see New York, all right, New York, you know, large population, you know, they're hard workers, expensive place to live, but yet when you look at the people that live there, they're not elites, right? They're not. They're just your everyday people, and yet they support progressive liberal politicians that run the city. And then you wonder why it's so expensive to live in New York, right?
And I think the bottom line here is after we're going to call up Jill, who has had to endure something that she shouldn't have to endure. These people are up at 3 or 4 o'clock every morning. The sacrifices they've made, the holidays they've missed with their families. To make Staten Island better, they have sacrificed for 145 years. Rutherford B. Hayes was the President of the United States, for God's sakes. And they're still here, and they're still strong, and they're not going anywhere, despite what other people on television have to say. And frankly, the people who defamed the Holterman family should apologize to the Holterman family for making stuff up.
Whoopi's too big to apologize.
Not everybody wakes up every day and thinks
Because she's a
about
dumb
politics.
bitch.
A good business person doesn't care about anybody's politics. So with that, I'd like to call up Jill Holterman Bowers. She deserves our 110% support. Jill, come on.
She'll explain the story, too.
It's a community that I have to tell you, I'm so overwhelmed by the support between finding out yesterday this even happened, getting phone calls, and then people coming in, people from all over just supporting us in every way. We had phone calls yesterday from Alabama. Guy says, I'm going to give you $50, send it to a school, send them donuts, send them cupcakes. The support has been so overwhelming, and I know how hard my family has worked to keep this business alive, and I wish my father was here today to see this. He would never believe it. My bakers come in 2 or 3 in the morning just to have donuts and rolls for everybody to come in and say, we have the best rolls ever. And you know what? It took my whole family. It takes everybody, the community that comes every day to see us. We have this everyday conversation with everybody. How's the family? How's this? This is what makes Holterman's Holterman's. It's the community, it's my fellow everything that come out, and us giving back to the community that makes this go round. And if it wasn't for you and Staten Island to make this work, we still wouldn't be here today. So I know my brother, Billy, work hard. Joe, my baker in the back, is here 6 days a week. Really does. Thank you so much.
Rather than commit to something they couldn't guarantee, they
There
had
we
a
go.
boiler here. Again, it's been
Thank you so much for everybody to come out.
All right,
and
let's
support
listen to
us with the
this is
Holterman
explain
family. It
about
means
what
the world
happened.
to me. It really does. Thank you so much. Oh, I wish my father was here today.
so good, Jill. Oh, good. So good. The goodness prevails. And just a little background for those who know, they had a boiler here. Again, it's been here 145 years. They had a boiler that was 60 or 70 years old. And the first week in November, guess what? It went on the fritz. They had to be replaced. And the reputation of Holterman's is impeccable, so rather than commit to something they couldn't guarantee, they said we can't do it. And the person who besmirched and defamed them took that as an insult to her. Well, get over it. This family will be here for, God willing, another 145 years. And as Jill said, it's her family, it's the Staten Island community, it's the elected officials. And I hope if you're watching this across the country, go online and order something, and we'll mail it to you. So keep coming to Holterman's. I'd like to call up State Senator Jessica Scarcella-Spanton.
Thank you so much for putting this together to our entire
Amen.
everything else.
Councilman David Carr, David.
Community. Like so many other small businesses, have been someone else's fault. It must have been a directed insult to her. That recognizes that. Other small businesses.
Let's hear what he has to say.
For Staten Island, and today Staten Island needs to be stood up for. And we're here today to have Holterman Bakeries back, because the Holterman family generationally has had the backs of this community. Like so many other small business owners, they give back to the community that they call home. They give back to the community that patronizes them. And I'm so glad that we see all the cars here, all the people coming in and out of the store today to send a message to the person who decided that she was too important for a boiler breakdown. It would never be the case. Staten Islanders, her pastries, and if it wasn't coming to her, it must have been someone else's fault. It must have been a directed insult to her. That would never be the case. Staten Islanders don't serve people based on their political opinions. They serve everyone who comes through their doors. And that is the case with the Holterman's family. And in case you can't tell, I love a good bakery. And this is one of the best Holtermans that she bought.
I've been turning on my television. Why you lost?
You're doing great by us. You're doing great by Staten Island, and you're doing great by the Holterman family.
Everybody, how are you?
All right, so it's all the politicians that come in. All right. It's just it's definitely defamation because luckily their reputation has held up well because of the history of business that they've done. And for Whoopi to think that because she's an elite, she's a celebrity elite, that she could just step on anything and everything, all right, that's just a straight bitch, all right? And so, yeah, it's just full of gas, full of shit, out of gas. That's what the View is, right? And so, yeah, they're just trash, all right? And to make up these claims, and she won't apologize. I'd be surprised if she's apologized because that's how much of an ego Whoopi has, all right? And, we got bigger fish to fry, real shit, all right? You want to talk about political retribution and political smearing instead of this nonsense that Whoopi is accusing the bakery of is because of her political beliefs. Let's talk about something real here, all right? And the real thing is the FEMA representative that were instructed to avoid Trump supporters during the hurricane, what do you call it, hurricane, rescue mission and stuff, that they were going out surveying flood-ravaged areas and hurricane-ravaged areas of Georgia and North Carolina. All right, so what about that shit? All right. So FEMA workers accused of telling staff to skip ravaged Trump homes claims it was common practice. All right, because she got put in a lot of hot water when she was telling the workers about skipping MAGA homes and all that stuff, or anything that you see signs that show that they're MAGA supporters, Trump supporters. And she got held up to that, but she said she was just following orders. She's a supervisor, but she's following orders from up top. All right? So that's the thing about it. That's real right there because she got fired for it. All right? And she's telling her side of the story that, hey, I got fired for something that I was told to do, And so she, pretty much blew the whistle on that. Now that shit's real, all right? Not that Whoopi bullshit, all right? So she got fired, and she said it was from senior leadership. She didn't, come out with names and all that, but it was just interesting how that, came about. So let's see here. We'll play this clip.
Well,
talk about Trump's arrangement, all right? Then you see why.
keep having this messaging.
Then you see why, the View and all this stuff are out of gas, right? They're all full of shit. All these. That's why CNN is doing these layoffs. MSNBC layoffs, right? Because they're all full of shit. And I think people are over it. That's why they stopped watching these shows and these channels and all that.
Coming out of these agencies, especially during the Biden-Harris administration, that there's nothing to see here. With regards to FEMA, they are being now presented with evidence that they were treating people differently based on their partisan views. That is an incredible
That's so un-American
discovery in the United States of America. And so, of course, you're going to have an investigation. We're not going to wait.
Well, FEMA insisting that the case of an agency supervisor telling relief workers to avoid Trump campaign signs at homes during disaster response is an isolated incident. Let's bring in the FEMA official who was fired over the incident, but claims she has been
This
made
is the
a scapegoat.
supervisor.
Marnie Washington. Marnie, thank you so much for coming on. I want to read this because this is from the FEMA administrator, Deanne Criswell. She said this, and she's talking about you. She said, quoting here, recently, a FEMA employee departed from these values used to advise her survivor assistance team to not go to homes with yard signs supporting President-elect Trump. This was reprehensible. I want to be clear to all of my employees and the American people, this type of behavior and action will not be tolerated at FEMA. You say this is not your policy. You're not political. You don't care about the right or the left. You are simply doing your job and following your orders.
Yep.
So you're telling me these orders came from somebody above.
Correct. When I first reported to Florida, I was already on another team. I was there as a specialist. This was the culture. They were already avoiding these homes based on community trends from hostile political encounters. It has nothing to do with the campaign sign. It just so happened to be part of the community trend. When you focus in on the campaign sign, you are violating the Hatch Act. So that is something that FEMA definitely wants to stay away from because it was created in 1939, and that was to protect citizens from being alienated based on their political stance.
So just so we're clear, you're saying that basically FEMA was doing this out of safety. They were doing that safe because they had some adversarial conflicts with some people with Trump signs in their front yards. So they banned every Trump sign. They said, don't go to any homes with Trump signs. And if that's the case...
But that's insinuating that all Trump supporters are violent, which it's so opposite. And when I first heard this before, it's so opposite of what Trump supporters really are. They're not violent supporters. They're not violent protesters. Democrats tend to be the violent ones and act out on anger and these sort of things. So it's insinuating that Trump supporters are violent and active in terms of how they act and all that. I just find that hard to believe because typically conservatives are not like that, So it's just weird to me.
Why would they come down so hard on you? Why are you the scapegoat? Why are you the one they're saying was, quote, reprehensible for actually putting this in place when you did not put this in place?
What's reprehensible is they're not being transparent. Why?
Well, she's scapegoat because she was the supervisor that gave the orders, right? Even though she's only following what was instructed from up top, she was the supervisor on the ground that said, hey, telling people under her, hey, this is what you got to do. You got to do this, all right? I mean, yeah, granted it's from the top, but because she's a direct line supervisor, of course she's going to be scapegoated because people are going to be asking questions, right? The workers are going to be asking questions. She has to take the heat because that's what happens with supervisors.
Is this coming down on me? I am the person that jotted down the notes from my superiors, and my notation in Teams chat was exposed from their surge capacity team. That's exactly what happened, and it's easy to then say, well, haha, it's her name, it's her writing.
Right.
Make her accountable for it. But I'm just simply executing, again, what was coming down from my superiors.
Right. And I'm wondering, because it says things like when on this list that says avoid the Trump houses, drink water, take rest breaks. So there's a list of things. You didn't come up with those either,
No,
right?
no.
So you didn't come up with any of this list. Is
Correct.
that a fair assessment?
Yes, sir.
And I'm wondering, how do you prove that, Marty? You're trying to save your reputation. How do you prove that this order came from above?
Well, the last time that question was posed, I verbally called on all DSA crew leads and specialists that are still active with FEMA and former to come forward and discuss our avoidance policies, our de-escalation policies. Because to be honest with you, we don't just I know the highlight here is the Trump campaign signage, but if someone is in another, like an urban community, and it's a different culture and someone feels uncomfortable, we can't go to that home.
We know. I think we know what she's trying to say, but without saying it, right?
We can't go to that home because of safety precautions.
So you feared the Trump houses. The people on FEMA were fearing the Trump houses like they were fearing people with...
Well, if they were saying avoid the Trump houses, they were insinuating that Trump supporters are violent and all that, and that's all following the lines of the narrative of the liberal point of view, saying, oh, Trump is Hitler and they're Nazis and all this other crap. Fear-mongering, right? It's all part of the fear-mongering avoid the Trump house. That was very direct. All right, not necessarily from her, even though she's following orders. That's very direct, very real. She got scapegoated. This is real shit. That Whoopi shit, all right, where she's trying to smear. Now that's bullshit. All right, so that's the difference here. This is real, and this is crap. Whoopi is fake, and that's crap. All right, you know, along the lines of the celebrity bullshit, you know, elite, above it all, and she got caught up in it, right? That's Whoopi for you, right? So screw Whoopi, and screw The View, because they're Trump deranged and they're out of gas. They need to, you know, change it up, or they're going to get wiped out too. All right, so that's what happened here. It's one of the shows with you guys. Give you guys my thoughts. Let me know what you think. You like watching these yentas? I don't. Every time I hear them, you know, when I hear clips and stuff, I'm just like, these ladies are so full of it. They're race baiters. They're gender baiters. They're trying to bait everything. All right, fear, especially about fear this, fear that. For this whole time, they were all fearing about Trump this, Trump that, Trump, and didn't get them nowhere. Didn't get them nothing, and they're still Trump deranged. All right, so yeah, they're out of gas. Their show needs to just go away, if anything, and just keeping it real here. Anyhow, that's the latest here. Share with me your thoughts. Comment down below. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. Got something on the daily. Other than that, I'll see you next one.